guest, our subject, our guinea pig. Welcome to the podcast. Boom, 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 boom.
Rockets,
Finally.
and robots. Let's start it.
Hello,
Yeah.
team.
Bop, 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 bop.
What is
How are you,
going
Drew?
on? I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, man.
I don't think
Happy
I've seen you
Friday.
wearing a hat before. Are you a big, you got a big hat game or?
I have a little bit of a hat game. I don't know if it's big, but
That's a pretty wicked hat, though. Is that like a chrome Knicks hat?
it is. It is
Yeah.
absolutely a New York Knicks hat.
Catch him
Yeah.
in the dark.
Yeah, it's
Ready
like
for this
Flash.
season.
Yeah,
you
that's-
get the little.
you got all kinds of splash on that thing. Yeah. I've got the hat game in the room with me because I got my Miami hat, which I was wearing
That's the
earlier.
classic Bobby hat. That's what that.
Yeah.
Is that your party hat?
This is my party hat. Yeah, I've been partying with this hat all not a week, but 2.5 days in Miami.
I'm not
So
partying now.
speaking of hats, we're going to try to coordinate a cowboy hat day for DynamicsCon. So
Nice.
we should remember
To
if you
Chicago,
don't have a
right?
Cowboys
Known
hat,
for its
like
cowboy
figure out
hats.
not the Dallas Cowboys hat, but like the actual.
Chicago's the Dallas of the North, they say. I'm pretty sure I
Right.
heard that somewhere.
So, yeah, we're going to try to coordinate something there that, like, if you know, you know. And
I love it. Yeah, so only the few people who know that we're in the know.
yeah, they're like 6 of us. They're like,
That's a good
I
amount.
know
If
you.
it was
Yeah, yeah.
like two,
they're
then
like, what the hell's going on here? Like,
It needs to be more than 2 and under 10. Yeah.
right.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Okay, for every session we approve, we're going to take a shot, and then basically
This sounds like
expand
a
it out for
terrible
like 12 hours. So
No wonder. It's like day 1, agenda looks great. By day 2, it starts getting fuzzy, and day 3 just trails off. I don't know what happened.
day 3 it was like, hey, none of these we like. Can we modify
Just
all
one
of them?
presenter, 12
One
times.
presenter for 12. Yeah, just nonstop. It's a marathon.
It's just Drew talking the whole day on where.
Yeah, he doesn't know
nobody
yet.
wants
He's gonna
to
wear a
hear
cowboy
that.
hat
Nobody
and leather
wants to hear
chaps by the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, chrome leather chaps.
I don't know if my
Yeah.
HR department would appreciate that.
Cool. Well, welcome to the podcast, Drew. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're excited to have you on. We thought we'd talk about our topic a little bit, Drew, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
We're talking
let's
about
hear it.
Copilot AI. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick, and then
Sure.
we can introduce ourselves, and then we can talk about AI.
All right. Drew Linsack, Director of Delivery for Finance and Supply Chain Management, D365 at Argano. Been in the dynamic space about 16 years. Got my start as an end user manufacturing. I was a master planner and kind of doc and data control analyst. Really loved it. Spent about 5 years doing that in various countries, and then decided to get my hand into consulting, and I've been doing that ever since. So Microsoft MVP in that area. I get to spend a lot of time, I guess, outside of the day-to-day and project work with people like yourselves at community events and helping advocate and educate for Microsoft Dynamics 365.
And that is Argano, not Organo.
That is Argano.
Wanna
Yeah.
clear
I'm
that
taking
up?
note. Yeah.
Every time I stumble, like right before
My
it
marketing
comes out,
team
I'm
will
gonna
come
say,
after me if I don't
Yeah.
correct you.
Argano. Yeah, no, who's saying what? But I'm going to kick it to the man
For me,
above
you're
he's
there.
right
They're
there
both
for
this
me.
way.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
somewhere.
For me, Bo Suizo, I am the Chief Operating Officer at Code, and today's day 10.
I would say that's
For
new.
that.
That wasn't
Yeah.
like
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Um,
congratulations, man.
Thanks. Also, 2025, I am newly minted MVP. So this is
All
going to
kinds
be
of cool stuff happening.
going to be a great 2025. So
Kick it over to Bree,
Grabbing
our
the
second BSer. Yeah.
I'm Brianna Sierra, and I'm member manager here at Doug. I started in May, but I started with Doug as a social media intern like 2 years ago. So been with the community for a while, but finally diving deep into it all.
And I am the true last BSer because I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Bobby Small, and I'm the community director at Doug, but been in the community forever and ever, and I won't belabor that point. We're here as the BS bunch. So we're going to talk about AI and Copilot today. That's our topic. But towards the end, we're going to have a little game with Drew where we are going to read story each, and one of them has been made up by Copilot. And Drew has got the pleasure of figuring out which one of us is the BSer today. And so this is the BS bunch. You've got Bo, he's a bunch of BS. You've got Brianna, she's full of BS, and I'm a load of BS. So I was shocked at how long it took everybody to get that. I asked Bri, she was like, "Okay, I can be full-eyed. Well, I don't know why." It's like full of BS. Ah, I gotta do a better job at explaining. I really I missed the mark initially out of the gate on that. Yep.
He was like, "Do you want to be fulla?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Bobby, sure."
Yeah.
Dang it.
All
It took me
right,
longer
so-
than I'm willing to admit.
Yeah.
I almost had to hand over my like dad joke card for a second.
So AI is huge. Obviously, we're getting smacked upside the head with it left and right. I'm here in Miami at a conference, and a guy from Microsoft, Juan Rivera, opened up with a really good keynote on AI and some innovation, some stuff he could share that's not quite out there yet. Interested. I'll start with Drew. How are you using AI today? What's the cool stuff you're doing with this out of the gate?
I think like most Microsoft partners and consultants, first and foremost, we're going to Copilot to align with what Microsoft is doing. And whether that's just out of the box, Microsoft 365 Copilot helping us organize our day to day, right? Help me track open responses and action items from my emails and my Teams chats and all my calls and things like that are very, very helpful in terms of staying on top of things. I think in terms of specifically more what I do as a D365 FNSE consultant and my team, we're looking at ways, how can we use tools like this to make projects more efficient, to make maybe some of the tasks we do over and over again automated. So trying to build in tools. I forget what specific webinar it was, but we were presenting on how to extend the generative help and guidance Copilot within Microsoft D365 supply chain management. So if you don't know what that is, it's essentially connected to Microsoft Learn. People can use it to ask how to do general actions within the system. That can then be extended to talk to your data or to have, let's say you have a bunch of ISVs, you want all their manuals. If they have add-on modules within the D365 interface, you can actually load those as knowledge sources. Now someone can ask Copilot within the D365 interface how to do the processes within that ISV module, and they have all that instruction right there. So we're, looking at ways like that. How can we make it easier for our consultants, for our clients to do their jobs and hopefully save a lot of time and money?
Cool.
Well, not only that, but you can also upload your customizations like your FTDs.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
you can have that Copilot learn very specifically that instance of production.
It'll
Yeah.
help
user,
in test
by organization.
cases by user, by organization. It'll help, extending some of what we used to do with like Task Recorder. Right now we have customized materials that Copilot is helping maintain and generate.
Is it going to augment Task Recorder? Is it going to replace Task Recorder? Does Task Recorder still have a place in this conversation with AI coming on board?
I think it still has a place. It's pretty simple to use and allows you to capture, documentation for your processes and show video. So I think it still has a place. It could augment it. It could replace it for some organizations, but I think Task Recorder still has its value for sure.
Yeah.
The framework for sure. Yeah.
Is this a company-wide initiative, Drew or Bo? Some people are doing it on their own. Like Bree might be using. I'm just using, Copilot and whatever, Gemini, all of them. I'm using them all at the same time and whatever. But some companies are at a high level adopting this, like you said, like, hey, here's how we operate meetings now. Here's how we do this. How's that looking, like from your seat? Anybody, for what you're seeing organizationally out there?
Organizationally, at least speaking for us, I would say it's happening at all levels. So there are ones that are all the way, top down from Argonaut, where we're exploring what tools are out there, because we are a company that is not just Microsoft. We have an Oracle business unit, we have a Salesforce business unit, we have an SAP business unit. So we are looking and exploring, I think, all tools individually within those towers or business units. We're exploring the tools across the board. Obviously, we have our own internal tools. Sometimes those are different technologies, right? So if we're using Microsoft E365 for something like time entry or expenses, and then we're using Microsoft Teams, Copilot's an obvious one for us to really figure out and see how we can take advantage of that. Definitely for me specifically in my team, with working within D365 ERP and the Power Platform, and we're looking to extend that most heavily, but that doesn't mean we're not looking at ChatGPT and other tools as well. We've definitely been able to utilize those tools to build solutions as well.
Now DeepSeek.
How deep?
Yeah, we don't know yet. We're still waiting to see that. Bree, what do you think about our organization? Have you heard? I mean, I know we used it kind of disparately. We haven't. It hasn't been like a company-wide initiative. Is that something you think we are moving towards, or what's your feeling? Should we be?
I definitely think, like, on an individual basis, since we all use different tools and use them for different tasks, like, I definitely use AI in my like everyday job tasks, especially when I'm putting stuff together for sponsors, like 101 sheets and resources. It's definitely helpful to not only like see what I'm missing, but make sure, like, sometimes I have a bunch of words and ideas in my head and I throw it into AI and I'm like, make this make sense to me and to everyone else. So in times like that, yeah, definitely useful.
That's what Juan, he mentioned. That was the first thing he said that he does. He said he admitted, I'm awful. He's been at Microsoft for 5-6 years. I'm awful at like structuring documents or structuring PowerPoints or structuring anything, but I've got great ideas. So he's learned to feed his ideas and say, you structure it for me now. You make this look pretty. And then you've got it to a certain level. Then I just refeed it and keep refeeding it till I get this kind of cool presentation.
I think that's it's a much often talked about tool, but the more you use it, the faster and the more efficient you get. It's just that like learning J curve, but it's also like I'm very much like that too. So I like to word vomit into a Teams chat, and then it's like, okay, maybe I just copy all of this nonsense that may not be concise enough, plug it in, be like, okay, please reformat this so it's like bulleted and it makes more sense. It's not repetitive or redundant. And then it's very much, you end up being off to the races and people, get the message that they need. And I've found it's really helpful to say like, here's the audience, and it will change some of the like verbiage. Like Copilot has a coach for that specifically. So it'll end up saying like, hey, you went a little too down into the weeds here where you're about to explain this to directors.
Because you can give it a direction. This is for an audience of beginners. This is for an audience of people who don't understand Power Platform. Absolutely. And then it could help you dial back your presentation. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. It's super useful for that.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Bo. How often are you going to Copilot or AI for filling your dad joke bucket? Are these all coming out of your head, or again, we don't have to air this part. I can cut it out if you're embarrassed, but just, how often are you going to the dad joke AI component?
So I would say it's like an 80-20 split. I've got this like always open website that is just top 2,000 dad jokes.
I love it.
And it's like, okay, I've knocked that one down. Now the next one. And then it's like, that one doesn't really tie into the blog I wrote. So like maybe I need to like figure that out. But if I'm feeling not creative, then it's like, boom, there you go. I need something like this morning's blog was very much of like, I do not know how to tie in auto charges to a dad joke. Please figure this out for me.
We're taking the driest subject on the land and making dad jokes out of them somehow. You need a Copilot agent that'll tell you if you've reused jokes too. Like, sorry, Bo, you've used this joke 3 times already in the last month.
It's stale now.
It's stale now. Please move on.
Move on. Yeah.
It's about an 80-20 split on those jokes. Like it's a struggle bus right there.
And are they sticking? Like the more you like, are they now sticking to their second nature? Like are you going out in the world where you don't have this list up and you're at the kids' soccer games, you're at the PTO meetings, and you're like just dad joking everything, and they're like, man, this guy's on fire.
So I'm very much of this is like a old movie reference, but I think dad jokes are a numbers game. So most of the time you say like pickup lines are a numbers game, or like you're trying to go to the club, if you would, and like you're trying to pick up or get numbers. It's a numbers game. So dad jokes is exactly the same to me. I rapid fire jokes when we're out in public. And if I get one laugh per minute or one laugh per like 20 minutes,
You're like,
that's
you're like
fine.
30 Rock. There's so many
Right.
jokes people can't keep up. They just keep coming.
Right. Yeah.
Do you
It is
walk?
like,
Do you drop the mic once you get the laugh, though, or do you keep going? Like once you get a laugh, are you
no,
running?
no,
Like
then
George
it's just
Costanza,
like,
this thing.
I just got enough fuel.
You're
just
feeding
like,
off the
yeah.
energy.
I
That's
just
when you're
hit
just
a
getting started.
checkpoint, and I've got more gas into that engine, and it's ready to
And your
go.
wife's like, "Don't get him started."
That
For
one
real.
guy in
She'll
the
be
room
like,
of
"Do not
100, he
encourage
loved
this.
this. I'm going to
Don't."
seek him out and keep telling him
Right,
jokes.
you just
That's
keep finding that guy. Like, where'd that one guy go that keeps laughing? I got to stand next to him to keep the crowd going.
You're in my circle now. Come on in.
Yeah, you're one of my people. What about your kids? Are they liking? A lot of dads get that groan, response. Are your kids into it, soft into it? What's the?
They're both, well, so my daughter's 7, and she very much is into the place where like she's starting to get jokes and starting to like get the like in the mode of her telling her own jokes.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. My 5-year-old does not get anything. Like I'll be telling him a joke, and he'll be like, "Hey Dad, you remember that Post Malone song?" And I'm like, "That's not related to what we're talking about."
Let me do over this joke again. I just told you a joke. You have to,
Let me explain it. I'll break it down. I've got
Here's a
20
graph.
slides here. Like, give me 20 minutes. We'll figure this out. I'll
That's
explain.
funny.
Yeah.
What about you, Drew? Any content usage? Are you seeing you finding that valuable? Like I use it a ton for content. No doubt about it. Like especially topics I might not know as much about. I just want a quick synopsis on something that I can comprehend. Been using it a lot, dropping like websites in for quick overviews.
Definitely. I probably have two, I don't want to call them guilty pleasures that I like to use it for, but maybe I will. So one is anytime I get stuck and don't feel like writing a blog, I just go into Copilot and I think of either like a theme or personality and I say, explain it like this. And then I just post a screenshot, like explain the demand planning app like Jim Nance at the Masters. It was one like I put out there.
Right.
I think I have one coming up about Valentine's Day or something like that. That's written in a poem that I used in schedule send, you gotta schedule time those LinkedIn posts so perfectly. So that is one use content wise, is when I'm too lazy essentially to post my own content. The other one is every time I create a customer deck now, I have to create some sort of stupid logo in Microsoft Designer and then add that into my PowerPoint decks. So I'll take, the theme of the company and their colors. Usually I'll do it for like the Q&A slide. So I'll make some sort of question mark out of their company logo and colors and theme and that. So yeah, everyone usually makes fun of me because they're just waiting for that slide. They're like, when is this deck going to be ready? Drew has to have the stupid AI question slide.
And it's very underrated on like how much our positions in consulting is to like making PowerPoints. It's like I did not like going through school, getting a computer science degree. I had no idea that like
you needed that degree in PowerPoint.
I guess my degree, I went to business school, so maybe I was doing it more versus actually learning the tech.
What else is happening in AI? What am I missing? We're using it for content. It went really quickly, like 0 to 1,000 from like making cool, funny poems, early last year to being real. This year and just kind of quickly the iterations of its use, like just in general every day, it was like, this is cool, right? Like you said, write me a poem in the style of Eminem about CRM. Like there was 1,000 of this stuff going on, but then all of a sudden it quickly turned to, but we can use it really, in all these different areas. What am I missing? What have we not talked about for AI?
Well, just to like level set, I guess the rest of the podcast, and you guys know this, AI has been around for 2 decades. So AI is not new. This whole like concept of like generative AI is really what like sparked everything.
So this isn't about Allen Iverson?
Right, basically, no.
I'm on the wrong podcast. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry,
that was my basketball hat.
Yeah, you didn't look familiar to me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why you were here.
I wore my
like,
basketball hat for nothing. It's a waste.
Practice.
So, Lord. No, I mean, their AGI essentially is made it a household name, right? So when we think about the differences between AI and AGI, it's really kind of we've enhanced, and Microsoft talks about this a lot now. So I'll steal it shamelessly. It's the conversation to AI. There's always been that foundational layer of like a large language model. There's always been that like fundamentals of what we consider AI now, but really in the last 2 years, it's been this like being able to talk to it in a natural language that has unlocked a lot. So there, I know that was your original question, like what have we missed? But it's it's one of those things for like, hey, let's make sure that is known versus like let's start maybe educating a little bit there. We certainly use it for like also use it where kind of Drew was talking about at Argano. How do we make sure that some of these repetitive tasks are kind of automated? So we look at it from like a project management standpoint. We look at it from like a writing our FDDs, or like maybe not writing them, but also like, hey, help us understand like this from a consistency standpoint, and so that all of our FDDs are like looked at.
Humans exactly write naturally differently, and if you need to standardize that and control that or make it a certain tone, that's a perfect use case for your organization.
Right. Yep. And we have a project where there's 9 analysts on it. They're going to have 9 different voices, so it's important when those all look the same, and that kind of reduces our like architects need for like an architect's time to make sure that's all consistently the same voice.
It opens up to maybe architects who aren't as good at doing the presentation or being able to bring back data, but they can just give it to you in this like their own words, and then somebody else feeds it into the overall project, and it becomes one cohesive feel where they were uncomfortable. Now they're feeling empowered by this opportunity to be able to be a part without feeling like, weighing somebody down.
I think it'd be super interesting, speaking of data, to really figure out how do we introduce AI to reduce our data migration. So data migration is always the bane of every implementation project. And I think if we can figure out how to like simplify that, then we become more consistent. There's like a more, hey, analyze this data. Well, like the last time I opened up Excel 4 hours ago, Copilot recommended like, hey, here's how I would clean up this data. And if you don't have Copilot attached to Excel, it's awesome for exactly that. It's like, hey, I have done this analysis already for you. How do we introduce some of that for data migration strategies? Because you're cleaning up and cleansing the data already in Excel. So and then also Python, I think that'd be fascinating, an alternative use.
Yeah. Yep. No, I mean, if you could do that, if you could train it on a data model to help companies go, because that's a huge deal. Fighting what data you're bringing over, a company like Capta-Code or Argano, or when I was at Ellipse, you can't make those data decisions sometimes for the company. They have to go in and make those themselves. You can help them, you can advise them, but at the end of the day, they've got to decide what data they want to keep bottom line. But maybe it's helpful to see it, organized in a way, or maybe it somehow gives a different picture with that mindset.
Right.
Interesting.
I can't tell you how many mental breakdowns I've had in Excel with data, and you just want to cry. But I need to up my Copilot skills within that.
Except for it always wants to strip my formatting. Like it's give me less data decisions. Like I can save you all this efficiency. I was like, cool. Well, how do you do it? Take all this color coding you just put on and off. I was like, well, I just wanted it on. I put it on. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. But I like the thought process. Thank you for the suggestion. I love it. Keep them up. Keep them coming. Yeah, but
it could help adopt though some of those natural habits. Like Excel's been there for forever. There's still people who are terrible at it, like learning what algorithms and calculations to use. Hopefully, tools like Copilot can help with some of that. Right? Oh, how do I do a VLOOKUP? Can't remember like which
pivot
columns
tables
to map.
Are huge, and people could use pivot tables. Yeah,
like Bo said, you click analyze this data, it can create a pivot table for you in seconds. Now you don't actually have to go through all all the
Right.
effort of going up to the top tab, selecting it, then choosing the data set. It just kind of naturally gives you
Yeah.
choices, and then you can adjust on the fly. So I think it helps immensely in areas like that, for sure.
Yeah, the adoption of the software, because I think you've known this forever. These productivity suites get used like by rote. Like once I open up Word, I know how to do 5 things really well, and that's all I ever do. I don't use the 99,000 other things you can do in this software, Excel, whatever they are. That this is a great way to start using. I was like, tell me, I'm looking to do this. Tell me how to do it, or make some suggestions, or whatever, or maybe it's just naturally telling you, like, we noticed you did some stuff. Would you like to do this? This could be cool.
Yeah, one of the things I've really have liked it for, not that necessarily the accuracy is perfect, but from the analytical point of view, is one of the hardest things to do, I think, as consultants is really do like a true business analysis. We get too much caught up in we're dynamics consultants versus we're trying to solve a business problem, right? We're trying to figure out a business process. Yeah. So when it comes to things like discovery and analysis, knowing the right questions to ask at a dairy manufacturer versus, an electronics OEM is important, even because not all of us are going to have 20 years experience in that industry, but in consulting, you're always going to hit different groups, especially in larger partners where you might not have just one focus group of customers. So I find it really helpful be like, before I go into those sessions, it can help me do research on the client, find questions to ask that are relevant, right, around, their material handling policies, maybe if they have government restrictions, FDA, if they're in, food and beverage, whatever it is, it can be really helpful doing that upfront analysis to get to what do we have to actually solve before we even touch the software. Creating those BRDs or something like that in Word versus just getting an FDD. There's lots of use cases, I think, for consultants outside of the software itself.
Yeah. I was wondering, Bree, have you ever done that for just maybe, this conversation makes me think about other opportunities for that. But hey, a new partner or ISV like Capta Code calls up and says, hey, we're interested in sponsoring a DynamicsCon, and then we got a call set up. You can go out, train, Copilot to look at their website to do some research. So you're ahead of the game. What you're talking to them, like, cool, I already know who the principals are, what they do, what software, what product tracks they're in, anything they put out there.
Or maybe even like what relevant educational sessions are going on, that topics people in the community are talking about. How can you put that into your sponsored session, hit on some current events, industry topics like that? Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. And also, I was thinking, Drew, when you mentioned the research, I've been working a lot with folks who are getting out into the job market. I'm coaching, it's weird I didn't use Copilot or ChatGPT, but I'm coaching them to go out and do the research on a company. Like, hey, you're going to be interviewing with Capta Code. You should go out and look at Capta Code, but, make it easier. Go out and have, ChatGPT or Copilot do this for you and ask it specific questions about, that would be relevant
and we
to a
can
job
use it
interview.
Too as interviewers, right? We want to standardize a set of questions, maybe because all interviewers have their own style. It's like, all right, here, let's create ones that we can have consistent, and then maybe they add their unique questions at the end. So it helps both sides, I think, of the interview process.
So I guess AI is here to stay, is what we're saying. By the end of the day,
maybe
it feels like it. Well, it's been here. I should say here to stay. It's been here. We know it's been here, but it's evolved now, and its new evolution is with us to stay.
I think we could. This overall theme with using AI is very much of like enhancing our jobs, and it's like less of like, oh, my job is going to get replaced, but more of my job is getting enhanced, and it's all the stuff that like is, oh man, this is mundane, is like no more of that. Like I get to do the stuff that I love to do. So like PowerPoint slides. So this is
some of those mundane tasks that some people love doing PowerPoint though. I mean, some people enjoy that stuff, but if you don't, it's taking away some of this monotony. Like I used to recap every meeting manually, and so it's easy to throw it into a thing. And I might still tweak it, but I'm not having to do all the. It's like I like to recap it, bullet it, and make it really digestible. It makes that
The
kind of stuff
notes
easier.
from Teams meetings has been
Yeah, it's
helpful,
like
and
these
then I
notes.
just add my own after. I'm like, all right,
You
okay, I
can come in
remember
and fill
this
it
now.
in.
Let my add my context. It's
Right, you might have some
really
context, some contextual stuff that you want to touch on. I'm gonna ask one more question before we want to make sure we have time for the fun
Oh yeah,
ending
we're here
here.
for
Yeah.
some reason, aren't we?
We've got a reason. So, but just quickly, when it comes to AI, does everybody still know a detractor? Like the person you're in the group, whether it's at work or it's at home, at the again at the soccer meet, that somebody's like, oh, the other day this one I've got, this is real life. The other day I was in a meeting and all of a sudden there was an otter dot something in there and I was just freaked out and I kicked it out because I don't want this AI BS in my in my meeting. I was like, why would you kick it out? It actually is doing a good job. I was trying to help them and they're like, no, never. I was like, okay.
When it's used for good, when AI is used for good, then we love it. But there's many times when it's not, especially with like visual AI and stuff. Yeah.
That's still pretty weird. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. Bo?
Yeah, I certainly do. It was. I'm not going to name his name, of course, but
Benjamin at Captain Code. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, this was like about a month ago. We were on a call with Microsoft. This is my previous company, and we got to, of course, Copilot got brought up. Like the first time it got brought up, this exec had said, "Hey, we'd love to take Copilot off of my phone. Can we do that? I'd like to not use Copilot at all." So that kind of like set the rest of the tone for that meeting.
Yeah.
I think they were like,
afterwards,
okay,
and by the way, I want to give up my car too. Do you have a horse nearby I could take home?
Right,
yeah, I really don't drive anymore. I'm over this TV, so if you could
I
just
really like Redbox and Blockbuster do still exist. What about you, Drew?
Any detractors? Anybody? Anything around that?
There definitely are. I think it's the minority, but yeah, there's a few out there. I mean,
Yeah.
I've just flat out told them I'm going to be using Copilot in meetings, and I'm going to capture notes that way.
Yeah, I think the detractors are. I mean, I think it's shrinking quickly. I think there's still people who are holding out, but I think
the Dementors got the detractors, and we're okay now.
I love it.
So my coworker Justin Carter, he said it a couple months ago. The name dropping Carter. He's probably, hopefully he watches this. Maybe not. But
we'll triple tag him.
I'll give him a shout out because I think he really talked about this, and I always remember it now. So for the detractors, they're missing the ideation phase. And a lot of the times companies really kind of like, okay, let's just buy a bunch of Copilot licenses and then see where it goes. Where Justin's approach was, I love that approach. Let's get ideas on how you would solve that problem using AI. And then people are immediate adopters. Then they're like, you get them past this ideation phase and then they're immediately like, oh yeah, that can actually be solved. I'm in.
You bet.
Rather than like, okay, this is an additional $200 a month or whatever the cost is for Copilot.
Now time for some BS.
Here are 3 stories. Ah, but one's BS. With 3 BSers. And just one guest. To whom they tell the stories? Then the guest must make a guess at which story is BS. The BS Bunch.
The BS Bunch. Here we are. We've talked about AI. We've talked about Copilot. We're here. We're all over. And so what we're going to do is we're going to each read a story, Drew. And after each story, we're going to pause and give you the time to reflect and assign it a BS meter. So you can just say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, Bo's story is, I'm going to give it a 3. I think 5 being the most BS-y.
So it's not just a yes or no.
Not just yes or no. So, we'll give it a 1 to 5, and at the end we're going to stop, and then you can say, out of all of them, I think this story is the one that is BS. So you're going to get a chance to listen to them all, You can kind of get a soft rating on what you think, and then you'll at the end you'll be able to say, you know what, I think it was Bobby's story, and then boom, we'll give you the answer. And
I'm not allowed to use AI to help me.
I'm hoping that we're watching your eyes and your hands have to be up here. So, yeah. No like blinking. Yeah, no blinking co-pilot. You've got some kind of blink system set up with your Morse code. Yeah.
You got my 2-year-old over here just
like doing
out.
it. Like let me repeat that story one more time out loud, so so I can get an answer. Yes. No, you have to do this on your own.
I swear, her name is Alexa.
And if you win, there'll be a big prize, a big Doug prize coming your way, or a BS prize. I don't know. We'll find something for you.
Well,
if you lose, you've got to publicly admit. If you lose, you got to publicly admit that you were BS'd by the BS bunch somewhere, somehow on LinkedIn. You're out there now as being BS. So, are you ready?
Have
you been on a game show before?
Ever? Like a real game show? I don't know. Good question.
I'm honored to think this is a real game show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Real game show. I've hosted like some.
It's true.
At Summit previously, I emceed some. Like crowds would just ask the questions, and there was teams of people, and I had to be the judge and help.
Oh, cool.
That's about it. Maybe.
All right. Well, here we go.
So all Dynamics themed.
This is a real game show.
Real game show.
We'll start with Bo. You can go first.
Okay. Are we reading like the first paragraph of the article, just to clarify?
So to clarify, whatever the paragraph you shared is what we're reading. Yep.
Okay. This article is called AI Chatbot Becomes the First Tool to Predict Cyber Attacks Before They Happen. This feels like eighth grade, like when you get selected.
Is this Minority Report?
Like, oh man,
Did you just read my
reading.
Minority Report?
Could be, yeah. So he pulled the description of Minority Report.
Could your next cyber attack be stopped before it even begins? This feels like a sales pitch now. A cutting edge AI chatbot.
Are you selling this tool? Yeah.
Yeah. AI chatbot named Sentinel claims to do just that. Developed by a top cybersecurity firm, Sentinel uses advanced algorithms to analyze internet traffic, social engineering trends, and even chatter on hacker forums. It boasts an impressive 92% accuracy in predicting cyber attacks, often days in advance.
Is that like an A- a 92?
Yeah.
Is it A-? Yeah.
No, 92% is an A.
That'd be an A.
It's still an A. It's a low A.
It's a low A. Yeah. So what do you think, Drew? On
so
the BS
5
meter,
is more BS and 1
5
is more
less
BS.
1 is less BS. Yeah. Where are we with Bo's story on Sentinel? The like you said, the Minority Report of technology coming out soon to help us fend off cyber attacks.
I don't want to be too drastic and be completely wrong, so I'm going to say 2.
2. Okay.
I'm going to go with 2.
I'm going to go next if you're okay with that, Brianna.
Of course.
All right.
You already know. You can't say your BS meter.
Me?
I was just kidding.
I wasn't give you a BS meter. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I marked it down though here. I wrote it down just as like, was it? I forgot. Yeah, it could be. All right. Last Halloween in Dublin, people expecting a wild parade atmosphere were instead ghosted due to a huge AI kerfuffle. The thousands of costume revelers hit the streets after dark, lured by an initial website post that went viral. Those that did show up, some well in advance, were confused by the unfettered access to the supposed parade route, causing some like Martin Meany to question the legitimacy of the parade almost immediately. He said, "A proper parade can't have mates roaming around the street willy-nilly." The poor souls left to stare at each other from across the street for hours, holding out hope for a killer clown brigade, were devastated when the hoax was officially unmasked as a small band of police officers showed up and asked the crowd to disperse, and they were dressed as, well, police officers.
This is so amazingly detailed, but I feel like this is Bobby reading like the intro to the play he's putting on next week or something.
I'm staging this in my backyard.
Irish names, little aphorisms, willy-nilly. Like, I hope this is BS. I'm going to go 4.
4. Okay.
All right.
I'm probably wrong so badly on all of these.
So, Bree?
All right, get that BS meter ready. In Louisiana, scammers have taken catfishing to new heights, or rather SpaceX level heights, by impersonating none other than Elon Musk. One victim, convinced she was dating the billionaire, has shelled out over 60,000 funds to this relationship, which began on Threads and even included some convincing AI-powered video chat.
Did
Her
it say
best friend,
relationship or situationship?
which could have been a situation. That's how
It's
I
going
would.
to affect my answer.
Her best friend, Hilda Holland, has been trying to intervene, but the fake must-sob stories, which included needing money for a FedEx truck accident involving a cash-filled package, of course, and a pizza for his son X, has kept the con alive. Even Home Depot stores had to cut her off her gift card supply because she started road tripping to other stores. Despite her friend's heartfelt pleas and the absurdity of multi-billion asking for gift cards, the victim is still hooked. The Better Business Bureau advises folks to check in on friends dabbling in online romances when the alleged boyfriend is the world's richest man. The stakes can be sky high in this case, but the cheddar will not make it better.
And an ironic twist: Martin Meany and Hilda, what was it? Hilda are now dating. Yeah, Hildebrand are now dating. Yeah.
Spoiler. Yeah.
She was his dirty.
I'm probably right. I just want this one to be true. I really do.
Elon using Threads, like
I was wondering about
like
that.
the owner
Threads,
of X, like yeah.
I want this so badly to be true, but I don't think it is.
Poker face is on, BS.
Yeah.
I know. You're all so good. I'm gonna.
So what's the first?
Because
what's the
I don't-
meter on
my God.
Bree's story? Are you going 1 to 5 on Bree's story?
I have no idea because I really want it to be, and I don't think it is. I'm just going to go in the middle with Bree's story.
Okay.
I'm going to go 3. Bobby, I think yours is the one that's full of BS.
It's like we'll go like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Your final answer. Is this the final? Is Bobby's story the BS story? Final answer.
Regis, that is my final answer.
Okay, with the real BS story, with the real BSer, please stand up, raise your hand, give us a huzzah.
Huzzah.
Sentinel.
No.
It is true. There was a parade, a website, an Indian-based website, a website based out of India used AI to gather information about events, but didn't really do the research to see if the events were really going on. And it had an amalgamation of a parade that was going to happen in Dublin that wasn't. So they posted it on a website that got sent viral because there was some other aspect of a organization that was going to be involved. So people were going crazy, and they all showed up. And guess what?
That's amazing.
No parade. The site's been shut down since. The guy said, he apologized, whatever. But that is true.
Yeah.
There's
Is
I
it Tom
wanted
from
mine to be
MySpace?
true.
Did he do it? I think he's behind all of this.
That could be it. And Bree, your story?
Yeah, check in on your friends that are in online relationships, Drew. You gotta check in on.
So I said, I need you to read the following 2 articles. And then it read it, gave a summary. I said, I need you to find the similarities on the 2 articles and then generate a third fake article. And we're going to play a game called 2 Truths and a Lie.
Awesome.
And
Was this Copilot you used or a different tool?
this was ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. This
It came
isn't
up with
sponsored by
20
Microsoft,
different fake articles.
Not yet.
And then we voted. Yeah.
It
Drew,
was
if
a
you ever
pleasure.
want to change your name so that you have BS's initials, we'd always welcome a 4th. So
We're taking applications.
yeah,
That would be difficult.
must
for a lot of
legally change your
reasons.
name though. So
We can somehow add in BSers on the down low. So we can bring
Right.
the DL in somehow.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how to bring the DL in. On the
Would love
DL.
to.
that was
Would
good.
love
See,
to, yeah.
it is a numbers game. You just keep throwing them out there.
Yeah,
you
just
get a
keep
laugh,
it
and you're
going,
like,
yeah.
"Woo,
And
worth
I-
it. This
It's a
is so
few
worth
months
it."
away, but I guess I'll see. I think all of you in Chicago. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
think
there.
there's something happening in Chicago. And if you aren't going to Chicago, click the link down below to register.
Yep. Is there a link below?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
will
yeah,
maybe,
there will be.
or to the right, or
could be,
I don't,
wherever it is,
whatever
there'll be a link.
media
the left
platform
to
this
the
is on. Yeah.
Well, thanks again, everybody, and thank you for joining us out there for the BS Bunch or whatever this thing's going to be called next time. Appreciate y'all, and see you soon.
All right.
Appreciate it.